Hey everybody, it's Kevin. Today is the 3rd of June 2021. Let's pull this down. Oh no, maybe not. Push it up a little bit. There you go. Yesterday I had got the opportunity to listen back to some of these videos and felt like the sound was a little bit off. Anyway, I don't know whether I got to get closer to the microphone or what, but that doesn't matter. I hope you're well. I hope you're having a good first part of your week. We're almost at the weekend, not quite. It's been a long time since I counted how many days to the weekend or even had what I consider to be a weekend, because I like the days that just keep going and keep coming and keep going and being grateful for whatever. Used to be I had a routine. I think when I worked for other people I had a routine, and then COVID happened. And like most people, that routine went whoosh, off it goes. And honestly, I'm one of those that's very curious about, well, I'm not sure I want a regular routine again. And I'm not saying I'm void of order and organization, because I am. I like having a little sense of a daily routine, what time to get up, what time to go to bed, and all that kind of things, and being connected to what do I need, what do I want, and is this a good idea, is this not a good idea? And then, of course, my days now have been spent in meditation, and not all day, but I stay connected pretty much. Keeps me grounded, keeps me, looking at different views of the way the world is what's the word? Transforming, I suppose, would be a good word. Anyway, let's get right to today's message. Boom, boom, boom. So I was doing my prayers and, doing a little meditation to bring in whatever message I needed to share. And of course, I shuffle these two decks. I created a mega deck from Kyle Gray's Angel Prayers Oracles and the Keepers of the Light Oracle. Just take 12 of the archangels out and pop them into Keepers of the Light, which are the ones with the gold background and this rather lovely design. Well, right before I shuffled and right before I did, thank you for bringing the message of the day, I did my prayer to the Lady Venus. And of course, out from the pack comes the Lady Venus. So I'm going to read what Kyle has researched and said, because he has a way of researching all of the information in putting it in such a succinct way that you get a really good description of all these angels and archangels and deities and spirit guides, ascended masters, if you will, that for me to go put my interpretation on it, although I have one, just seems overkill. I've noticed that a lot with different folks who are doing whatever platform, YouTube, TikTok, whatever these platforms are, that somebody gets an idea that, and I'm all for putting your own spin on it. I love it when, you get a cover song that perhaps somebody wrote and produced and it was hit the charts, and then it gets re-released sometime later through a different artist. And there's been a lot of cover songs that have been re-released that are really were hits way back. One that comes to mind is Blue Velvet, that was released way in the 60s and was re-released recently. Another one, which is a Dolly Parton, I Will Always Love You, got re-released by Whitney Houston and was a huge mega hit. So the point I'm making is there's sometimes where you can take the essence of something and then put your own spin to it, to where it would be simple to understand. And I have to say, Kyle Gray is a master at doing this. He's a master at being able to dig right into the depth of each and every spirit, deity, god, goddess, and he's studied the different types of religious beliefs, in Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism. I'm sure there's many others, the Zen, the Tao Ching, all of these various courses of study that I believe brings us to right where we are right now. And I find it's rather lovely to be part of a spiritual consciousness that includes all of the denominations, making it a non-denominational. And I like to study languages, so I think to myself, well, the word denominational comes from the word demon. Well, to demonize means not something that's very good. So I'm sure I'm going to be a non-demon person, equal to everybody. And the more I study the different ascended masters, Master Jesus for one, and obviously we've got Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, and John the Baptist. It seems that in modern day religion, I'm going back 18th, 19th century, we trickle back to Christianity, Catholicism, and the Catholics and the Protestants, being all part of the Christian beliefs, wanted us to be controlled, and wanted us to believe that this God that they worship and pray to was this terrible person, that if you did something wrong, you were banished, abolished, sent somewhere that was not so pleasant. I don't know. All of these stories and limiting beliefs that simply I don't believe a word of. And even as a little boy, when I was subject to going to Sunday school, which we did, I enjoyed it. It was fine. I think it was something where my mum could put me somewhere for an hour or two while she cooked a dinner. That's that's my take on it. Later I joined the choir, well, because I could sing and I enjoyed singing, and what better way to do it than in front of an audience of local people. The Reverend Squarey was our local preacher, rector, whatever you want to call it. And he would spend, I guess, the week pulling pieces and passages from the Bible and making it work for the daily sermon. All of that to say, obviously, growing up, I wasn't subjected to Buddhism, Taoism, Hinduism, Judaism. I mean, it was just these fringy religious beliefs that were there, but not something I knew anything about. Fast forward to 2010. 11, 12, and I am learning yoga, not about the poses. I thought that's what it was about, getting the poses right, but it wasn't. What I learned was, how is this possible to be transformed physically, emotionally, spiritually, and all this with a 3x5 mat and a lot of heat? It was the breaking down of all of that I had learned, and a reminder of what I had come here to do, which is this. All right, so let's read what Kyle has to say about the Lady Venus. Let's see, I'm in the wrong book. There we go. There's a prayer in his latest book, Divine Masters and Ancient Wisdom, that is something I've been doing for 33 days. I think I'm about halfway through. Although I didn't pay attention to when I started it, so I just keep doing it. And that seems to be fine. So the Lady Venus is about downloads and understanding, and the truth being revealed, and deep insights coming from heaven and the astral realm. So the Lady Venus is the twin flame of Sanat Kumara. So if Lady Venus and Sanat Kumara came up and popped up in this reading for today, it would be epic. and they're said to reside in the astral realm surrounding the planet Venus, the light being of Venus, known as Venusians. And that is a collection of energy of which Lady Venus is the queen. The light being known as Venusians are now coming to the light workers on Earth to help them and their connections, understanding and the capacity to share the divine love. Lady Venus is a wonderful keeper of light to call upon when you're trying to forge a connection with the heavens or finding it difficult to understand the signs and symbols and guidance that are being sent to us physically or through meditation. She also allows us to connect with or focus on particular energy so that we can understand them more. So if we're studying spiritual subjects, call the Lady Venus for help, which is what I'm doing. And the other part to it is if you're hearing high-pitched sounds, vibrations, you're seeing unusual symbols such as a rare bird where you wouldn't expect to see them, even a coin, even something that is not of the normal thing that you would see. Sometimes I'll go by in the wintertime a plant or a bush or flower or a shrub, and it's flowering at a time where it would not normally be doing that. These are the symbols that things are being downloaded to get our attention, to divert what we're looking at and what we're seeing away from the wretched news cycle. Look, I've got nothing against journalists who wish to go in through the career of reporting the news. And there's some news that we need to know about. For example, if there's a hurricane coming and we've got 3 days to prepare our homes and our houses and our animals, well, then I need to know about that. If I'm planning on a trip or a wedding or something outdoors, then I need to tune into the weather to see if I need a plan B. And the same for traffic. If you're planning a long drive and you know that between this exit and that exit it's been detoured around about the houses because there's been an accident. This is the news we need to know. I have not switched off from reality because I think that's one of the things that when we start to study light work, spirit, angels, love, compassion, understanding, it seems that to most that we've switched off from reality, that we are not interested in knowing what this president, that governor, or that mayor, or that lawmaker is doing. Although, in my own way of beliefs and feelings, I want to know why all of them are not making the world or the environment or the community or whatever it is that they are being elected to take care of, why they're not working on a plan to make it better. And I'm not just saying have meetings and discuss it with the local community, because to be honest with you, those who show up to these meetings are doing so because something's going to directly affect them. Whether it's the school board moving a school or somebody coming along and saying we've rezoned this area and we're going to be sticking a skyscraper in its place. I mean, those things impact local communities. So therefore, they're going to show up and they're going to voice their opinion about whether or not they want whatever it is you're planning to do. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is turning off the news that I'm not sure I believe anymore, and I'm not sure I accept it. And there's been too many evidences where on Tuesday this is being said and on Thursday that's being said, and no one really has the answer. I don't want to go down a political rabbit hole, but what I am going to do is I'm going to share the prayer that I got from this book, which is what you do for 33 days, and the reason why. And evidently I've done a little shout out for this. A lot of Kyle Gray's books do have I call them overlaps. It's not repeat, it's an overlap. What I love about it is, as an author, he is seemingly going through the past work that he's done and revising it. Maybe there's something that was not included that needs to be included. And I like how the overlap seems to be a repeat, but in a way that lands the information much better. I would consider myself a slow learner. Am I slow? Well, it depends on what I'm doing. Usually, if it's something new, I take my time. Usually, if it's something that I'm pretty adept at, not so much. But I wouldn't consider myself, as most educators do, well, they're a slow learner in the terms of being or needing extra help. You know, when I went to school, slow learners were considered less than intelligent or less than adequate or less than academic or less than. They were always put on a shelf lower than the others. I feel the same way about people who judge those who are a little bit different. Autistic, you can't say, well, they're on a spectrum. Well, we're all on the spectrum because we're all equal. Every single one of us has and is some way on some sort of spectrum. Of course, if you want to limit yourself to a diagnosis or an understanding, fine. But before anyone goes and judges an autistic person or decides to point fingers at somebody who says or claims that they are one way or the other, got something that some doctor told them they had, look into your own world to see if there's something about that that you can change, alter, understand, have compassion for. That's really where we're all being led on this journey. That whatever we're vibrating with, attracting, and doing is going to show up. If we keep telling ourselves that we live in a limited world and life is going to be terrible, and we're not going to have enough money, and we're going to live in a box on the corner, well, that's exactly what will happen, because that's the vibration we're claiming we want. Anyway, I'm going to read this prayer. So working with the Lady Venus helps with strengthening spiritual connection, opening up to a personal experience with source energy, the universe, God, this vast planet, creating alliances with star beings who can guide us personally, downloading information that will support our growth, increasing energetic bandwidth to receive more information on a spiritual level. The Lady Venus can also help go beyond any false and limiting ideas that have been placed upon us and that could be standing in the way of growth or healing. If you're ready to shift, say this prayer for 33 days. And if those of you who want to purchase the book, I believe it's available on Hay House, but you can go to kylegray.co.uk. Just look up there. There's a website. On the website, there's products and there's links. Now, he is a United Kingdom based company. Some of the links may send you to United Kingdom based, like Amazon has a UK based plant or distribution. But I got this from Barnes & Noble. All right, so here's the prayer. Thank you, Lady Venus, for helping me rise above and beyond the limiting ideas, stories, or false narratives that have been placed in my heart and energy by others. I am now ready to break the bonds and chains that prevent me from rising high. Thank you, Lady Venus, for guiding me out of my mind and back to my heart space, so that I can have my own personal connection and experience of Source. Thank you, Source Energy, for allowing me to experience you directly. I am ready to claim my worth. That is something, let me go back over here. That is something that I found profound. Claiming your worth, claiming that you are worthy, claiming that you are just as much right to be on the planet, to say what you have to say, to stand your ground, to stand up for what you believe in, no matter what other people have said about you or your type or your kind or your people or your group, whatever. Many of us who think and believe in a way that perhaps is not mainstream, and mainstream is general. I don't like that word normal because I don't believe it's a word that should ever be uttered. Probably because I was called anything but normal. And then I went through a ratchet stage where, well, what is normal? I think the word regular would be better. I think unusual, what's usual? I always find that we are ordinary people. Everybody's ordinary, but we do extraordinary things. We appear to be extraordinary in certain areas of life, in certain aspects, careers. There's careers that are extraordinary, and it depends on who you're speaking to. And that's where it begins to be a little bit bumpy, where the comparisons happen, the judgments happen. We learn from children because, kids are like sponges. Some adults take the time to ask the children what they mean, explain it, educate me more, tell me more. Others don't want to look at anything that's different other than this single focus, this laser down here. Anything that takes off that person's focus is wrong or bad or shouldn't be or isn't. And that's where we learn as children, well, what do we follow? It's hard sometimes to follow leaders who say, do what you feel is right. What do you want to do? What does your heart tell you? I've had that many, many, many times. And that's actually the truth. That's actually authentic for someone to say that. That's a compassionate person who wants the best for you, but wants you to see what the best is. We can want the best for other people, but if those other people aren't seeing what's best for them, no matter what we want. So, back to Lady Venus. No coincidence that I should be praying and doing the 33-day prayer, and Lady Venus should pop up, downloading and understanding. So, the next time you're going about your business and you see something unusual, particularly the numbers that follow sequence 111, 222, 333, 33, 22, 11, or 1111, that's a direct hit that the angels have shown up with a message. What's the message? And that message could simply be, you're supposed to pay attention. You're supposed to pay attention, especially if you look at a clock, or something unusual happens on November 11th, and you see these numbers. Then you get to be, okay, there's something I need to pay attention to. There's a message. And the message is sometimes just the experience of being open to it. Just the experience of knowing that there is another energy source out there that's at work all the time. So now let's read from our Melody Beatty book and see what today's message is from Journey to the Heart. Transcend your judgments. Not judging people is really a practical issue. A friend explained, everybody does something they could be judged for. If we start judging, we'll spend all our time doing that. My friend was right, but not judging is more than a practical matter. It is a spiritual issue as well. I used to spend a lot of time judging other people. I used to think the world was divided into right and wrong. I thought judging others would help me stay clear on the difference. I thought judging was my job. Now I've learned something new about judgments and about myself. Judging others is what I do when I feel afraid, insecure, and limited. Judging others is something I do when I'm afraid to love, when I can't accept love because I can't accept myself. And most important, I've learned that judging others is not my job. When I judge others, I judge myself. Yes, there are issues we need to work on. Many have quirks. Many of us have quirks we may live with most of or all of our lives. But judging doesn't help. Judgments limit us. Judgments condemn. They say, my past is not as it should be. I'm wrong. My life is wrong. Judgments put us in prison, no matter where we are. Judgments come from the head. Freedom and love comes from the heart. Transcending judgment will set you free. Learn to look at yourself with love. Who you are, where you've been. Learn to look at others with love too. When we accept others with freedom and love, we accept ourselves. Judgments puts up barriers. Transcend your judgments and you will be free. You know, that's something I learned growing up. I can't call it a British issue because not all British people are that way. But my ancestors learned it, picked it up. This comparison thing, which is what I was talking about earlier, that's the judgment. Whenever we feel and vibrate with lack, limits, what Lady Venus is saying here, when you live with limiting beliefs, how odd that these two things are completely different and they match up. That's a sign. When you have these cards that I drew and this prayer that I was doing before this card came up, and then it comes into judgment from Melody Beatty's book, those right there, that's not coincidence. I didn't sit here for hours and plan all this stuff up. It just popped in that way. That's when you get the message that there's something bigger going on that's just happening. But I'm glad and grateful to show up as a catalyst to bring that information out there to the world somehow. Anyway, I was going on about how do we learn to judge. It's interesting that it's all by osmosis. There are people that we worship, not just gods and ascended masters and people that I'm talking about in my daily work, but people, coaches, teachers, preachers, mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, grandparents, the corner shop person. Anybody that has a strong personality gets our attention. And strong leaders have a strong personality that the meek and mild folks pay attention to more. And when somebody comes off with a lot of strength and a lot of va-va-va-voom and a lot of that for want of a better expression, volcanic energy, radio personalities do it. When they say things that get your attention, like a word that begins with F, that's what it's for, to get your attention, to get you to pay attention, to get you to look, to get you to see. You know, sometimes I think that's why a lot of commercials are a bit kooky. Some of the insurance commercials are off the wall. They're asking policyholders to buy into an insurance policy, yet the way you're presenting it is it's nothing more than a satirical sketch. Weird, odd, different. But the audience is paying attention, listening, watching. And that word, that name, that brand, that subliminal message is tick, 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 boom underneath it. There's something psychologically connected when we begin to pay attention. So, if you're following along, that's where judgment comes from. Judgment comes from the idea that something is better, something is good, or something is bad, something is worse, or something is what you should be following. And that has been stirred up, brought up, and thrown up in the last 15 months with a global pandemic that caused the world to turn upside down. It's the same as when you have a local disaster. People either come together or they push apart. Initially, people come together. People are looking for help. They're in distress. Other people find compassion and they help their fellow person. What can I do? Let me help you. There are those people that automatically do it. And then there are the ones that look for blame, look for shame, look for anything they can do to make it not their problem. I'm not judging them, I'm just observing. Now we're at a point where this happens over and over and over again. So we're brought to, at least I'm brought to the understanding, well, why does this keep happening? Why do people keep running that way? There's been an increase in random acts of violence, an increase in the way planet Earth is erupting, fires, floods, storms, destruction. Yet people rebuild in areas where there have been tornadoes, hurricanes. Keep rebuilding. Let's rebuild. We don't want to move. We don't want to go. Okay. You could judge it and say, well, that's your own fault. Okay. Or not. The way for me to get past the judgment and to do my best is to take each situation now and look at it. What is it about myself that I'm really judging? Because the vibration shows up. If we're upset with something we see in someone else, it's because there's something not right with ourselves. Something we have to forgive ourselves for. And understand it wasn't intentional. That's a big piece I get from judgment. If you judge another person, was your judgment intentional? Because there's two ways of looking at judgment. Intentional judgment means you want them to know that what you believe they're doing is wrong. Hate is an intentional judgment. It's a strong emotion, but it's an intentional judgment. For one group of people to apparently hate another group of people and get out there and say that the other group of people are so terrible. Cancellation policy comes to mind. Somebody hurts your friend, you're going to take it upon yourself to go off there and judge publicly. When you learn to just be in observation of where it comes from, why it's there, you raise your vibration. You also raise your vibration when you step away from a situation that you're about to judge. Go for a walk, take a bath, exercise, that's huge. Raise your heart rate, that's huge. scream, yell, go in a room, make a lot of noise. That's huge. Anything other than to get into something that you'll later regret. So when you're calling upon the angels and the angel Lady Venus and these, where you're raising your vibration, opening up yourself to source energy, be prepared for some of the habits and the limitation beliefs that have been put upon you will show up somehow. And it isn't about saying, well, I thought I had dealt with that, because that's been my cycle. I thought I dealt with that. I thought that was all done with. For goodness sake, why have I got to keep doing this? No. As you grow, you start scratching the surface. You know, when you plant grass, you've got to prepare the dirt. You're looking to lift up above and get an opening with spirit and become lighter, brighter, more compassionate, more loving. If you're looking to expand your heart space, know that some of those boulders that have been there for a while really need to be dug out. The roots are deep. Doesn't take long, it's just a bit of work. Now it's time to meditate. I think I'm done with that rampage. And thank you for listening. Right, so put your feet flat to the floor and get in touch with your feet and get in touch with your physical body. Like, you might want to stretch, pull your shoulders back and down and crank your neck from side to side, down, up, whatever. And bring your palms up in receiving. Create a big heart space. So all of this area of your chest, your upper back, all of that, open it. Take a big breath in, fill up your chest and your upper back with air. Let it all go. Feel that tingle. Your morning body is going, whenever you're listening to this. A yawn sometimes helps to clear out the internal cobwebs of sleepy land. And I'll send up a morning spiritual prayer before we guide you through the meditation that starts your day. Thank you, Archangel Michael and the Ascended Masters, for clearing the space, cutting the ties that bind me to people and places, situations, stories, drama, gossip, and any other energy and vibration I no longer want, need, or no longer serves my purpose. Thank you for cutting those ties right now. I'm free. I'm safe. So shall it be. And then you can picture beautiful cobalt blue light. That's the energy, the color of Archangel Michael. Perhaps you even see a sword or the blue breath of dragons just chopping off all of those barbs that might have attached you, might have attached themselves to you. Thank you, Ascended Masters, Archangel Metatron, for clearing the space around me of lower vibrational energy. Thank you for reminding me that you're here. Thank you for opening up the space to source energy for the highest good of me and everyone I come in contact with. And so it is. Bring your left hand onto your heart space. Bring your right hand to your belly space. Give yourself a little bit of a nurturing rub and then find some gratitude. Put a smile on your face. Let your feeling of gratitude and grace and love and harmony, let those feelings be shown and vibrate from the inside of you outward. And you can repeat this affirmation: I am the keeper of my heart and my body in my mind and my spirit, and wherever love is, fear is a stranger. Love is here. Love is right here. Love is right here. So it is. And then bring your hands down towards your lap. Let your mind's eye settle in your third eye center, that area between your eyebrows. Just be an observation of anything, vision, sound, a feeling that shows up. And for this morning, for this meditation, I give thanks for the Archangel Gabriel for reminding me of her presence. And thank you for the nurturing love that she brings to my world and the world of all those that are listening. Thank you, Archangel Gabriel, for pulling us into your heart space, for revealing to us the truth of what we all need to know. We are ready to listen, to receive, and to be free from the burdens of judgment, to transcend all the negative thoughts and feelings, limiting beliefs that have been placed in our space. Thank you for guiding us away from this. Thank you for guiding us towards truth, towards love, towards compassion for ourselves and others. And so it is. As you meditate and breathe, connect with your breath and picture a beautiful pink light. You can see it as a mist. You can see it as a plume of color. Allow your imagination to bring you the visions that's been created just for you. See this plume, shower, whatever you see coming down from way above your head, pulling down from the farther heaven of the sky, down into the crown of your head, and see this plume being funneled down, drawn into you by you. See it fill up, filling up your heart space, your mind space, washing down over your chest, filling your belly area and your hips, running down your shoulders, elbows, forearms. Let the pink light dribble into each and every one of your fingers, down into your legs, washing over your buttocks, your hips, all of the chakra areas of your genitals and your base chakra. down into your knees and your shins, your ankles, your toes, tops and bottoms of your feet, and then imagine the roots of your feet being pulled into Mother Earth, the nurturing love of Mother Earth, absorbing all the judgment you place on yourself, absorbing all the negative energy you place of yourself. Fill up on the soft pink light. Allow the soft pink light to vibrate out from your being, creating your own personal spiritual cocoon of love. The element of nurturing, follow your breath. With every inhale, allow this pink light to expand, to brighten, to glisten, to shine. You have within you the cosmic light of the heavens, the loving pink light of Archangel Gabriel. You're vibrating with the energy of kindness, compassion, and if you're getting thoughts that pop in that take you off track, just bring your mind back to your brow area. Sometimes it helps to anchor your thoughts through your hands and your feet. Come back to your breath, number 1 on the inhale and 2 on your exhale. Keep your numbers going. Just gently receiving the information from Archangel Gabriel and all the Ascended Masters. Your mind and your heart and your body and your consciousness, your entire being is experiencing a download, deepening your connection with source energy, replenishing your heart space with the love of Archangel Gabriel. Gently bring your hands to prayer at heart center. Keep with you in your heart today, in your body today, and generating outward from you. Just keep that sense of love, compassion, understanding, joy, gratitude, and allow your being to be open to the downloads of the highest registry of the universe. And to close your meditation, your message, lift your thumb knuckles to your third eye center. Together we bow and say Namaste. Thank you so much, those of you that are on the live and those of you who get the replay. I'm just grateful for doing this. And I hope it helps. And welcoming feedback. I think that's how we learn and grow. So have a great Thursday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Lots of love. Bye.